Sorry for the lack of lore, my uni finals are approaching and I took 3 days off to calm down. So don't worry, the stories will come back again. Hello everyone and welcome! Whenever Riot releases a champion spotlight video for a new champion, during the abilities preview they always use someone connected to their lore as a target. These previews are later imported into the client, which leaves us with a client full of lore references. So today I want to show you every single champion in the live client, and I want to explain why their target is who it is. So let's get started. Aatrox is pretty obvious. He was the one who slaughtered Tryndamere's tribe and he was the one who corrupted him. It is because of Aatrox that Tryndamere has his ultimate. Ahri has Katarina on all 4 spells simply because of the Noxian invasion into Ionia. Akali has Zed, not because she herself would consider him her nemesis, but because she is a scholar under Master Shen, who obviously goes against Zed. There is also a theory that Akali was part of the Shadow Cult, and later on she switched sides. When I saw that Alistar has Tahm Kench, I was a bit confused, but as I kept going through other champions, I realized that Tahm Kench is just a placeholder for those who at the time of the client's update didn't have any lore. So if you see Tahm Kench, he is used for those who don't have a lot of lore. For Alistar, I was definitely expecting Noxians. Amumu has Azir because Amumu was a child ruler of Shurima many years ago, so obviously he sees the current ruler as a rival. I was expecting Anivia to attack Lissandra, but I was surprised to see Brand. This could be a hint at a possible future story since both Brand and Anivia are elemental spirits from Freljord. Now Annie really confused me. When I saw Tryndamere, I immediately figured this was a reference to the old cinematic, but then I saw Gragas is there too. Since both Tryndamere and Gragas are from Freljord and Annie is from a Noxian family, this could be pointing at all the small invading Noxian parties into Freljord. Ashe has Sejuani for obvious reasons. Ashe, Sejuani and Lissandra are the leaders of the 3 tribes at war. Aurelion has a really clever reference. I was expecting to see Pantheon as he, or they, are his arch-nemesis. But you can only see Leona and Diana there, the aspects of the sun and the moon. This is because Pantheon is the one controlling Aurelion, that's why you can't see Aurelion attacking him. Azir has Xerath, since Xerath was his slave, but in his ult he also has Renekton. That's because Xerath corrupted Renekton and turned him into his soldier. Bard, as mentioned before, has Tahm Kench because he is at a weird place story-wise. However, Taric appears on his W, possibly hinting at a connection to Targon. This could play into our previous Void theory. Blitzcrank, being Victor's invention, is attacking Jace. This is a bit weird because Blitzcrank is self-conscious and he separated from Victor. Unless he himself thinks that Jace is bad, he shouldn't really go against him. Brand has Anivia against him for the reasons explained earlier. Braum has Ashe as an ally because he joined her tribe in order to fight for better Freljord. The reason why Misfortune is there is because Riot needed an ability that fired multiple AoE rounds. Caitlyn goes against Jinx because Caitlyn is the cop and Jinx is the outlaw. Camille has Victor against her possibly because she sees his augmentations as unnecessary and pointless. Her own augmentations had a purpose to save lives. Cassiopeia goes against Sivir because Cassiopeia betrayed her in order to open a tomb, and she goes against Nasus because Nasus is Sivir's guardian. Cho'Gath goes against Diana because Targon and the Void are in eternal conflict. Corki has Tahm Kench because again there is not a lot of lore. Darius attacks Garen because of the Noxian versus Demacian military war. Diana attacks Leona possibly because of self-defense. I highly doubt Diana would attack Leona on her own, since Leona is technically the bad one. Mundo has Vi because of her old ties to Zaun. I was expecting to see Echo because that would be a much better connection, but this makes sense too. Draven goes against Jarvan because Noxians successfully captured Jarvan alive. This could mean that they wanted to dump him into the gladiator pit. Echo goes against Jace simply because Echo doesn't like how easy Piltover inventors have everything. Echo had to make his inventions literally from scrap. Jace just bought everything he needed. Elise attacks Vayne because Vayne is the main monster hunter of Runeterra's shapeshifters. Evelyn has Twisted Fate because of their possible old romantic connections. Ezreal has Draven because...
Noxians. I hate those guys.
Fiddlesticks goes against Lux because of the light and dark magic contrast. Fiora attacks Jax because these two had an epic duel in their story. Fizz has two champions and possibly for two reasons. Gangplank is the one terrorizing the seas, and Nautilus is the corrupted walker of the ocean depths. Galio has Sion, not because of the current lore conflicts, but because they are the two massive giant war constructs created by Demacia and Noxus. Gangplank has Misfortune because he killed her parents, and Swain because he stole his capital ship. Garen has Darius because previous reasons. Gnar, once again, has Tahm Kench. Gragas has Lysandra because, just like Braum, he decided to join other tribes to fight against her. Graves has Gangplank because of the Burning Tides conflict. Hecarim has Lucian because of the Shadow and Fortune story, and Vayne because, again, she's the main monster hunter. Heimerdinger goes against Rumble because these two are two rival Yordle inventors. Illaoi goes against Hecarim because Hecarim invaded her temple in the Shadow and Fortune story. Irelia doesn't have a lot of story, but it makes sense that she goes against Syndra because Irelia is the Ionian protector and Syndra is an inside threat. Ivern has Rek'Sai against him because he is from a rune-afflicted forest, and the void creatures like to invade places like these. Why Caitlyn is with him, I have no idea. Unless she was one of the child hunters from his story, this isn't lore related. Jaina is even more confusing. I think this is a reference to her old lore since she is pretty much now bound only to pirates and Zaun. Jarvan attacks Swain because Jarvan is the son of a Demacian leader and Swain is the leader of Noxus. Even though Jax isn't directly connected to Yi, he is looking for a worthy fighting partner, and a Wuju master would certainly be appealing. Jace goes against Jinx because he is the defender of Piltover and Jinx is wreaking havoc. Kalista attacks Lucian because he is the purifier and she and Thresh are both bound to the Shadow Isles. Karma, taking care of Ionian society, goes against Swain as the leader of Noxian invasion, and Darius as one of the soldiers. Karthus goes against Soraka because she is his exact counterpart. They don't interact in their lore, but he is death and she is life. Also, Kindred is there because they can't deliver people to their end if Karthus steals their souls. Kassadin attacks Vel'Koz and Cho'Gath because Kassadin is actually the good guy. He was corrupted by the Void, but he still sees its destructive nature. Katarina attacks Garen because they met on the battlefield before. Also, Ezreal is there with him because Ezreal often visited Demacia on his treasure hunting. I am going to skip Kayle because she currently doesn't have a story. Kennen goes against Zed and Darius because he is in Shen's unit and he defended Ionia during the invasion. Kha'Zix has Rengar because Kha'Zix beat him in a duel. Kindred has Hecarim and Mordekaiser because they banish the souls they are supposed to deliver to the end. Caitlyn is there to represent their interactions with normal people. Kled has Jarvan because Kled protects remote Noxian lands. Kog'Maw attacks Kassadin because he was summoned in by Malzahar and Kassadin is his main enemy. Because he was summoned into Ikathia in Shurima, he also attacks Rammus and Ezreal. LeBlanc has Jarvan because of old lore references. I don't think there is a major current connection. Lee Sin attacks Swain and Draven, referencing the Noxian invasion. Leona attacks Diana because she thought Diana was a heretic, and Taric is there simply to show their connections to Targon. Tristana is there because Targon doesn't have an AD carry yet. Lysandra goes against Ashe because she is the leader of a rival tribe, and Anivia because she protects Freljord against her. Lucian attacks Thresh because he stole his wife's soul. Lulu, once again, comes in with the Tahm Kench. Lux has her brother Garen with her and a bunch of Noxians against her to reference the war. Malphite attacks Maokai and Anivia possibly because the three together are spirits of Earth, Sky and Nature. Malzahar has Kassadin as explained before. At this point, I don't know why Maokai has Zyra, Cassiopeia and Syndra against him. He is bound to the Shadow Isle, so I really don't know. Master Yi attacks Singed because Singed bombed his home village. Misfortune attacks Gangplank because he killed her family, and Twisted Fate because he steals from Bilgewater. Mordekaiser attacks Lucian and Vayne because they hunt the monsters of the Shadow Isles, and he has Hecarim on his side because he is Mordekaiser's servant. Just like Gale, I will skip Morgana. Nami has Fizz on her side because they are both ocean creatures, and Nautilus against her because he is a corrupted ocean titan. Although I would prefer Nasus to attack Zerath as his main enemy, he has Renekton against him as his corrupted brother. Nidalee has Kha'Zix because he is consuming life in her jungle. Nocturne doesn't have a lot of story, but he has Zed against him as a reference to shadow magic being their main source of power. I understand why Nunu attacks Brand and Lysandra for previous reasons, but please ignore the out of place Kog'Maw. Olaf goes against Lysandra and Ashe because he is part of the third tribe. Orianna attacks Victor because she thinks he is evil, and Singed because he is part of the reason Orianna lost her body. Pantheon attacks Leona because the Rakor tribe has a tradition where warriors have to duel their friend to the death when they grow up. Poppy smashed Darius because of the Noxus vs Demacia. I don't think Kha'Zix is related to the lore. Quinn attacks Draven for the same reason. Rakan and Xayah attack Zed because he corrupts their lands, Rengar because he is from a rival tribe, and Jhin because he terrorizes Ionia. Ahri is with them because she is a fellow Vastaya. Rammus is another weird one, so let's just ignore him. Rek'Sai goes against Kassadin as explained before. Renekton battles his not corrupted brother. Rengar wants revenge on Kha'Zix who previously beat him. Riven and Yasuo go against each other because of the mystery surrounding the Master of the Wind. Riven possibly killed the Master and everyone thinks it was Yasuo. Yasuo also attacks Varus because Varus is hunting the wanted man, while Varus is attacking Riven and Katarina because they invaded Ionia. Rumble has Heimerdinger because he is his rival inventor. Ryze attacks Lysandra because she is possibly holding a world rune. Anivia and Nasus are with him because they all protect Runeterra. Sejuani has Ashe and Lysandra as explained before. Shaco has Jhin because they both see killing as art or fun. Shen has Zed against him and Akali with him, all because of the ninja story. Shyvana attacks Darius because she is in the service of Jarvan. Singed attacks Jace because Jace is trying to protect Piltover from his influence. Sion attacks Garen and Lucian because they are both Demacians. Sivir has Cassiopeia against her as her betrayer, and Azir on her side because she is his blood. Skarner is attacking Cassiopeia, possibly because she wanted some of the Brackern crystals from Skarner's species. Sona doesn't have a lot of story, but she is from Ionia, so she is attacking Noxians. Soraka is attacking Karthus as previously explained, no real lore connections. Swain is obviously going against Jarvan. Syndra against Karma as explained before. Tahm Kench is one big mystery, so I can't explain anything unless we get into theories. Talia attacks Azir because she thinks he is holding her family as slaves, and Renekton because he is an enemy warrior. Talon goes against Lux because they are both enemy spies, and Ezreal possibly because he could be an inside connection to Lux and a valuable target, but also because he is a Demacian ally. Taric has Rek'Sai against him because of the Targon vs Void, and Garen on his side because he was his best friend. Teemo goes against Rumble, because Rumble sometimes does shady stuff and Teemo is something like an assassin commando police. Thresh obviously goes against Lucian. Tristana again has Tahm Kench. As you can see, there is a lot of Yordles against him. Maybe this is a connection to his appetite. Trundle has Ashe because he is on Lysandra's side. Tryndamere attacks Aatrox because he slaughtered his original tribe and cursed him. Twisted Fate is going against Gangplank because in the Burning Tides he was stealing from him. Twitch is a Zoonite mutant, so he is attacking Piltover's heroes. Udyr attacks Lysandra because he is with Sejuani. Urgot currently has Jarvan against him because he almost captured him moments before Urgot died. Vayne is attacking Vladimir not only because she is a monster hunter, but also because of the vampire hunter reference. Vladimir of course attacks her back. Veigar has Gnar against him as a Yordle placeholder, he doesn't have a lot of story yet. Vel'Koz attacks Zilean because Zilean has the ultimate knowledge since he can see as far as the time itself goes. This is something Vel'Koz is interested in. Vi's greatest rival is obviously Jinx, but Echo also doesn't like the fact that she left Zaun and joined Piltover. Victor is attacking Jace because Jace hates him for no reason. Also, Echo thinks Victor is turning children into robots against their will. The Volibear and Zilean thingy is just a joke, so let's ignore it. Warwick has Singed because Singed brutally experimented on Warwick and turned him into a werewolf. Wukong attacks Darius and Draven because they invaded Ionia, regardless of the fact that Wukong never fought in the Ionian invasion. Xerath goes against Azir because again, he was Azir's slave. Xin Zhao doesn't have a lot of story, but he is Demacian, so he is going against Noxians. Yorick is going against Hecarim because even though Yorick is technically undead, he is still holding onto the light, so he is trying to get rid of the Black Mist. Zac is going against bunch of Zoonites because he is the hero of Zaun. Zed is going against Akali because possibly she was a member of his shadow cult before she switched sides. Ziggs once again with the Tahm Kench. Zilean with the Volibear jokes. And the last but not least, Zyra attacking Maokai because Maokai is just a spirit taking over a tree. And Zyra is obsessed with controlling plants around her in order to feel powerful. And that is all the references found in the client. Obviously some of the references have nothing to do with the lore, but I just found it interesting that most of them do. The guy taking care of these previews really knows his lore. There is no way these would be just coincidences. And a lot of them are really well hidden references too. But that is all I wanted to show you today. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe if you are interested in lore. I think I can help you with that. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Discord if you'd like to chat. Since I am probably gone right now, I think my Instagram will be filled with IRL pictures. Also, a massive shout out to my early Patreons. Thomas, Davey, Blackrain and Cat. And to the rest of you, thank you so much for being here and for your support, you know I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you come again.